My spirit sang all day, oh my joy. Nothing my tongue could say, only my joy.
My heart an echo caught,
oh my joy, and spake, tell me thy thought, hide not thy joy.
My eyes can peer around,
oh my joy, what beauty hast thou found? Show us thy joy. My jealousies grew whist, oh my joy, music from heaven is sent for our joy. She also came and heard, oh my joy, what said she is this word? What is thy joy? And I replied, oh see, oh my joy, 'tis thee. I cried, 'tis thee. Thou art my joy.
There you go. Stand there and hold it, the whole time I'm clean.
I can be a mic stand. I mean, my name's Mike.
That's right. Mike, stand. Stand, be Mike.
Well, you know, for you, they got like there's a little rope in this tent up here. You just roll it over.
Ooh, that'll really pick me up when I say dirty jokes.
So be careful. Be careful what you ask for. Now you can't talk.
There once was a man from Nantucket.
Why does your watch say 11:21?
It's fast.
Real fast.
It's set on Navy time.
It was made by a trumpet player.
What's that?
It was made by a trumpet player. Former trumpet player. Or a drummer.
Hey, this was $7.89 at Walmart. Come on.
Good afternoon and welcome to you all. Please remain standing for the national anthem, the singing of the Veni Creator, and the opening prayer. After the national anthem, the Reverend Mark Bosco of the Society of Jesus, Vice President for Mission and Ministry, will introduce the invocation. The national anthem will be led by the senior choral scholars. Please join your voices with theirs.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
The Veni Creator Spiritus is one of the most widely used Roman Catholic hymns. Written about the 9th century, it is sung at Pentecost, just around the corner here on the calendar, and has been used for centuries as at other solemn assemblies, including the beginning and closing of the academic year. In this ancient hymn, we pray that God's Holy Spirit will fill our hearts with comfort, wisdom, and peace. The Veni Creator will be sung by members of the senior choral scholars.
Veni Creator Spiritus, mentes tuorum visita, implesu perna gratia, que tu creasti pectora. Deo Patris sit gloria, et Filio quia mortuis, surrexit ac Paraclito, in seculorum saecula. Amen.
For the senior convocation, we have asked 2 members of the class who represent the Sikh and Muslim students of Georgetown to lead the opening prayer and closing benediction. For the opening prayer, I invite Harnoor Sucher of New Jersey School of Foreign Service, class of 2026, to the podium.
Vaiguru Ji ka Khalsa, Vaiguru Ji ki Fateh. Ek onkar Satnam Karta Purakh Nirpau Nirvair Akal Murat Ajuni Sapang Gur Prasad Jap Ad Sach Jugad Sach है भी सच नानक होसी पी सच. O divine light, creator, destroyer, and sustainer of all creation, Ek Onkar, we gather here today in the spirit of oneness. We recognize that while we wear different robes and hold different degrees in various disciplines, the same light flickers within each and every one of us. As we graduates stand at the threshold of a new chapter, please remind us of your wisdom in the statement, Manas ki jaat sabe eke pehchanbo, or recognize the entire human race as one. May our education not be a wall that separates us from others, but a bridge that connects us to the universal family of humankind. May we not look upon each other as friend or foe, but rather see one another as part of the same fabric of humanity, where you are the divine thread. O Vaheguru, O Divine One, you have gifted us with intellect and voice. As we enter a world often clouded by inequality, instill in us the spirit of a compassionate warrior, one who walks with humility of a saint while possessing the iron will to fight for the dignity of others. May we never be silent in the face of injustice, and may our careers be defined not just by our titles, but by our commitment to the path of righteousness. In a world driven by anxiety and competition, grant those of us graduating today the gift of nirpao, or fearlessness, and nirver, being without enmity. Please grant us all the vision to see your presence in every face and every challenge, allowing the light of oneness to cast out the shadows of anxiety and isolation. O Divine One, we acknowledge that while we strive and plan, we are not the ultimate masters of our destiny. We often tire ourselves trying to control the wind and the direction of the river's current. Please help us all find peace in the realization of your hukam, or the acceptance of your divine will. Help us understand that success and failure are both your gifts, and that true liberation comes from surrendering the ego to the vast intelligence of the universe. May we live in Chardikala, the state of eternal optimism and rising spirits, even in the face of adversity. Let us be grateful for the struggles that sharpen our minds and the friendships that will and have warmed our hearts. As we, the leaders of tomorrow, step out today, please let our lives be a living prayer. May we be humble in our victory, resilient in our struggle, and forever committed to the well-being of all, or Sarbatta Pala. Nanak Naam Chardi Kala, Tere Pane Sarbatta Pala. O Nanak, may your name be ever high, and may we all prosper in your grace. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.
Please be seated. Members of the faculty and staff, representatives of the Alumni Association, members of the graduating class, parents and family of the senior class, ladies and gentlemen, today we celebrate the curricular and co-curricular achievements of the outstanding Georgetown class of 2026. But Georgetown is a generous place. We're happy to celebrate others' achievements as well. We are glad to join the nation in celebrating the 250th anniversary of the Declaration of Independence in 1776, although we do think 1789, the year of the Constitution, is a somewhat more auspicious number. We're also glad to note that exactly 25 years ago, Steve Jobs and his friends founded Apple. What would we do without all of those laptops? 100 years back, Winnie the Pooh first appeared in print, and Father Bosco happily recalls that 10 years ago, the Chicago Cubs beat the Indians in the series, ending their unnatural and irrational 108-year championship drought, proving that anything is possible. Here on campus, we've also been celebrating a particularly Georgetown anniversary. In April, we hosted an international conference to celebrate 185 years of Jesuit astronomy at Georgetown. In 1841, the Jesuit physicist, Father James Curley, established at Georgetown the observatory that still crowns the hill between the McDonough Arena and Keyhole Field. Jesuits have been associated with astronomy almost from the time it began to be studied as a science. Georgetown Jesuits were instrumental in establishing the Vatican Observatory, initially in Rome and now in Arizona. But both the past and current directors of the Vatican Observatory are Georgetown alumni. And Professor Sarah Stewart Johnson, professor in both the Department of Biology and the SFS program in Science, Technology, and International Affairs, was one of the anniversary organizers. Of course, it's been a long time since the night skies above the district were sufficiently clear for astronomical research, but our anniversary celebration can remind us that astronomy still has vital things to offer at this moment in your and Georgetown's history. Commenting on the anniversary, the Director Emeritus of the Vatican Observatory, Brother Guy Cosmolongo of the Society of Jesus, has written, "We astronomers do not work alone, solitary observers of the night. We learn as communities, as teams. And so have you, in your years among us. If you had somehow done all of your academic work alone while living in solitude, no matter how hard you worked, you would have learned less. And what you would have learned would be less valuable, because it would not have included what you came to know about other human beings, about differences and unexpected similarities. Without those years in community, you would have learned about things and events, even perhaps about ideas, but you would not have learned about life, and you would not have learned how to live." And there's another parallel lesson to be learned from astronomy. At almost the same time as we were celebrating history at Georgetown, Artemis II was making history with its flight around the moon. Just before he disappeared behind the moon, Navy Captain Victor Glover sent back this message: "As we continue to unlock the mysteries of the cosmos, I would like to remind you of one of the most important mysteries there on earth, and that's love. Love God with all that you are, love your neighbor as yourself, and so as we prepare to go out of radio communication, we are still able to feel your love from earth. We love you from the moon." There is an ancient saying, "Per aspera ad astra," rough times lead to the stars. You've had your share of rough times here, but now you are soaring. And as you soar, remember, we love you and will always love you from the hilltop, because among many other reasons, we know you have trained to be and will always be and remain stars. Interim President Groves, seated before you are the graduating classes of the College of Arts and Sciences, the School of Nursing, the Walsh School of Foreign Service, the McDonough School of Business, the School of Continuing Studies, and the School of Health. They represent all 50 United States, and as the flags that flank them show, 62 other nations, 21 from China, 20 from the United Kingdom, 16 from South Korea, 14 from India, 8 from Singapore, 7 from Canada, 6 from Brazil, Hong Kong, and Turkey, 5 each from France, Italy, Switzerland, and Taiwan, 4 each from the Panama and the Philippines, 3 each from the Dominican Republic, Peru, and Pakistan, 2 each from the United Arab Emirates, Greece, Israel, Japan, Mexico, Sweden, Ukraine, and Vietnam, and finally 1 each from 14 other countries. They have won highly competitive graduate fellowships and scholarships, including 31 Fulbright U.S. Student Program grantees, 3 Big East Undergraduate Research Poster Symposium medalists, 4 Goldwater Scholars, 5 Schwarzman Scholars, 4 Voyager Scholars, 1 Albrighton Scholar, and 2 Truman Scholars. Some of them will enter military service, 13 of them into the United States Army and 1 into the United States Navy. At Georgetown, they have taken 71,933 courses, earning nearly 200,377 credit hours. The youngest among them is 20, the oldest among them is 58. They have contributed to more than 80 performances in music, theater, and dance. 79 members of the class of 2026 served in community engagement leadership positions through the Center for Social Justice, such as DC Reads, DC Schools Project, Ask, Home, ABSCO, FOSI, and Alternative Breaks. 201 seniors have participated in 1 or more of Georgetown's varsity teams during their time here. They have earned 500 academic honors, won 64 league regular season and tournament championships, participated in 94 league championships, made 24 postseason NCAA tournament appearances, earned 119 all-league athletic honors, and at least 16 All-American honors. So, Dr. Groves, here they are, 1,809 strong, Georgetown's class of 2026. Commencements are traditionally marked by valedictory speeches. The name comes from a Latin word meaning to say goodbye. This afternoon, we have asked 3 individuals to say goodbye to you on behalf of the university. 2 are your fellow students, and 1 a distinguished alumna. We have chosen the 2 students because of their academic accomplishments, because they have used their time at Georgetown to increase their insights into our world and to learn how they can authentically serve other people. In the true spirit of Georgetown, they have written their own remarks to express their own message to their fellow graduates. Evie Steel of New York City is graduating from the School of Foreign Service with a major in regional and comparative studies and minors in history and Chinese. At Georgetown, she was the editor-in-chief of the Hoya, the university's newspaper of record, leading the paper to national recognition from the Society of Professional Journalists. A Carroll Fellow, Crow Scholar, and Laidlaw Scholar, she has pursued academic research into the history and politics of journalism in East Asia and the Pacific. In the fall, Evie will pursue a master's degree in global affairs at Tsinghua University in Beijing through the prestigious Schwartzman Scholarship. Evie.
Thank you. The words I've thought about most while I've been here, the words I've thought about particularly these last few weeks, as all these lasts have put me in an especially reflective mood, were words I first read in high school. It's a piece of poetry from Alfred Tennyson's 19th century poem, Ulysses. At the end of his long life, Ulysses, the hero of the Odyssey, decides on one more voyage. How dull it is, he says, to pause, to make an end, to rust unburnished, not to shine in use. At Georgetown, the idea of rusting unburnished has come to me most of all in the Hoya's office. There, stack upon stack of old newspapers line the walls. I've always been struck by how quickly these stacks yellow, how quickly soft, fresh newsprint fades to brittle, crinkly paper. How quickly newspapers go from ever-present to historical documents, records of an older time, and how quickly the stories in them turn from just last week to remember when we first attended our Georgetown classes in our COVID masks, or had new student orientation events in the white tents scattered across campus, or had classes where generative AI policies weren't yet on the syllabus. Last week, I went through our old Hoya stacks and found a copy of the newspaper from our freshman year. It was already yellow, exposed to the air, rusted but burnished, just like us. Because Georgetown has truly been a place where we've all been burnished. We've found friends that support us and mentors that challenge us. We've had opportunities to travel abroad, to research everything from housing economics to tuna fisheries to the EU, and that's just my thesis cohort. We've been awed by seeing the Clintons listed as guest speakers in Gaston Hall before learning that they're here practically every semester. Of course, not all of this burnishing has been voluntary. Spending late nights in Lao, armed only with endless cups of tea, finding out the hard way that the library closes at 3 a.m. on weekends. Worrying constantly about campus jobs and internships and careers. Feeling pressure to figure out who I am and what I want to be. Getting so swept up in the semester stress that I forget the last time I ventured out of the Georgetown neighborhood, or even ate a vegetable, or even saw a vegetable. But Georgetown isn't just a place where we've all been burnished. The wonderful thing about Georgetown is that it's been a place that forces us, challenges us to be burnished. But all of these things that have burnished us, from the ridiculous to the fantastic, won't come to us so easily outside of these gates. What then? What now? Tennyson tells us that we're all going to rust. He insists that being burnished is a choice. We can go out into the world and choose to be burnished. We could seek out the things where we do indeed feel a sense that to pause is dull. While I was here, I did my best to do that through journalism, and I saw all of you doing so too through the stories that I covered. In my very first story for the Hoya, I covered students launching a vigil in solidarity with women's rights movements in Iran. Since then, I've covered students' path-breaking medical and scientific research, no spoilers for Harry's speech to follow. I've covered students advocating for national policies that strengthen voting rights or demand AI be human-centered, or for DC-wide policies to promote educational accessibility, or here on campus for university policy changes on a whole range of issues, each motivated by a desire to heal the wounds of a broken world. Each of us, in our own ways, does what Georgetown teaches us, to care for each other and our community. But we now can choose not to be burnished. It can be a tempting thought to drift away from our passions, to stick to easier paths, to let our doubts and our insecurities and our fears lead us to the safer choice. But if we don't let ourselves be burnished, if we don't find the things that make us shine in use, we will rust. So let yourself be burnished. When I was going through those stacks of newspapers at the Hoya, I found a curious thing. If you pull a newspaper from the center of one of those massive stacks, its edges might have yellowed, its front page might be crumbling, but its inside pages stay pristine, bound together tightly, still perfectly creased. Those pages are so pristine because they haven't been read, haven't even been opened. If we rust unburnished, then it means we haven't lived up to our fullest potential. We haven't justified every hour we put into getting here or to thriving here. We haven't made the most of the cherished relationships that we've made here or the excellent Georgetown education that we have received here. But in those moments up ahead, when we feel ourselves beginning to rust unburnished, Tennyson's poem insists that this is not irreversible. Ulysses, bored at home in Ithaca, seeks one last seafaring adventure. He tells his crew, "Come, my friends, 'tis not too late to seek a newer world." Whatever those new worlds are that call to us, we can always choose to turn and follow their calls. Ulysses leaves us with a challenge: to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. Georgetown has taught us the first three, but it is up to us not to yield. Thank you, and congratulations to the class of 2026.
Thank you, Evie. Harry's son of Connecticut is graduating from the College of Arts and Sciences with a major in biology and a minor in philosophy. At Georgetown, he worked part-time at Hoya Snacksa, the campus bodega, and served as an EMT in the Georgetown Emergency Response Medical Service. He is a Carroll Fellow and has pursued research in the fields of cancer and neuroimmunology. In 2025, he was awarded a prestigious Goldwater Scholarship, which rewards the most promising young scientists in the nation. This summer, he will begin his joint MD-PhD training at the Harvard-MIT program. Harry.
Thank you, Provost Colbert. I want to talk about someone who has guided me all my life, my fierce and sweet mother, who died last year from cancer. My mom was someone who constantly lived in the future. She was a nurse, and she worked and worked and worked, caring for others day and night. Even after her diagnosis, she kept working from home. I was, and continue to be, amazed by her strength. At the same time, although she rarely spoke about her weakness, I could feel it by her side, the frailty of her shoulders as I squeezed them, the looseness of her clothes as I pulled them over her. In these moments, I often wondered what was on her mind. How does one wrestle with the enormity of death, of the life and lives one might leave behind? Seeking to understand another person, even a parent, perhaps especially a parent, felt like reaching toward a sky. I could see it, but never cradle it. I could reach for it, but never fully grasp the triumphs, the losses, the fear, and the hope. Many times she told me she was scared, but that, most importantly, she was happy that I was there, that she had this unexpected time to rest, sometimes to do the things she loved. This brings me to my first piece of advice. Hold on to each other. Hold on to each other and cradle the people and the joys that bring you rest. From my mom, I learned that as much as we ceaselessly strive, we must also ceaselessly rest. That there is no greater reward than a joy that satiates. As I stand here today, called to give a ledger of who I am and what I wish to say, there has been nothing more meaningful than the time I spent being part of that joy for my mom. Whatever or whoever that joy is to you, I hope that you will cradle it in your heart. If not, cradle it in your arms. Now you might be thinking, thanks, Harry. Tell me something I haven't already heard from my resident minister. Okay, I will. Back to my mom. The beginning of her treatment was almost miraculous. She took a small pill every day, about yay size, that specifically targeted the cancer, and it got rid of so much of it. For about a year, she lived a nearly normal life. Then, however, her cancer transformed into a new, more aggressive subtype. She started new treatments, but they were never as effective. It was there at her side that I saw firsthand the gift and yet the agonizing limits of science and medicine. I saw how decades of research could be distilled into a single pill that gave us a year we would not have otherwise had. And I also saw how much we still do not know. Why did my mom's cancer transform? What mechanisms contributed to her progression? And broadly, how can we develop even better treatments to improve the worlds of millions? I felt urgently the weight of these questions. So I turned to research, which had taken my mom this far in the first place. I joined various labs to study cancer immunology, this fascinating intersection between cancer and our immune system's ability to attack it. As I designed experiments with mice and tested samples from human patients, it was both incredible and incredibly challenging. I loved testing questions with the wondrous tools of science, but I sometimes wondered whether I was doing anything at all. Experiments would go awry, and there would be no guarantee that whatever we found in mice would mean anything in humans. Despite this uncertainty, however, I was so happy to contribute to our new knowledge. I was grateful to be able to liaison between the fundamental science I did and my mom resting at home. This brings me to my second point. Step into uncertainty. There is only one thing in life that is certain, which is death. Apparently, there are people trying to make that uncertain too. I know that we have all experienced times, whether at Georgetown or beyond, where doubt plagues our minds and we have no idea what to do about anything. I want to tell you that you are not alone. This doubt and uncertainty is normal. Applied right, skepticism is a scientist's greatest tool. You may doubt, but try and try again. This world needs us, truly, to step into this pandemic of uncertainty, not another one, and face the problems we see. I found that I could do this by learning to wear the shoes of a physician scientist. Caring for my mom taught me to barrow through this seemingly infinite uncertainty by finding the questions I could test, the people I could help. But you may be called somewhere else. Georgetown has taught us that too, that each of us is, in our own way, called to be. So look around you. We are amongst the world's future leaders, innovators, and advocates. What a time it is to be alive, to have been at Georgetown, to be you. At a moment where the world faces uncertainty and history is unmistakably watching us. Here at Georgetown, we are called to be in so many different areas, in business, in medicine, in global affairs, in literature, and so much more, in places we have not even imagined yet. So, wherever you are called, I hope you will carry these reflections forward. First, hold on to each other. Then step into uncertainty. Congratulations, class of 2026. Hoya Saxa.
Thank you, Harry. Our next speaker is Emma Hinchliff. Emma graduated from Georgetown College in 2015, where she majored in government and served as the editor-in-chief of the campus newspaper, The Hoya. She went straight from Georgetown to Houston, Texas, where she worked as a Metro reporter before coming back to New York. For the past 8 years, her professional home has been Fortune magazine. Today, she is the editor for Fortune's most powerful women franchise, where she chronicles the stories of women at the top of the business world. She's profiled figures from CEOs of large Fortune 500 companies and founders of the world's fastest growing startups to Kim Kardashian. She is a frequent onstage interviewer leading conversations around the globe with newsmakers from Carmen Diaz to WNBA legend Sue Bird. Her interview with E. Jean Carroll is featured in the new documentary, Ask Jean. She's the author of Fortune's flagship newsletter, Most Powerful Women Daily. Her journalism has been honored by the Deadline Club, the National Headliner Awards, and the New York Newswomen's Club Front Page Awards. Her work gives her a front row view into how women are redefining power across industries. Emma.
Hello, class of 2026. Congratulations and thank you so much for being here. I truly mean that from the bottom of my heart because I am 99% sure that I skipped my own senior convocation. I know how exciting and scary this moment feels. 11 years ago, I graduated from Georgetown. I remember being so uncertain about what would come next. In a way, I was right, but we'll get to that. My senior year, I was surrounded by peers who had had offers for months in consulting and investment banking. If not, they were probably admitted to a graduate program. I was jealous that they knew exactly what their next steps were. I, on the other hand, was interested in going into journalism. It was more typical to get ghosted for months and then get an out-of-the-blue call asking if you could be at your desk tomorrow. That's basically what happened. I moved out of my house on 35th and N and went on a Euro trip for a month with my savings from waitressing at the Tombs. Graduating without a job felt like jumping off a cliff. But while I was in Greece, I got a call asking me to move to Houston, Texas to work for the Houston Chronicle. I had never lived anywhere besides the East Coast, and all my friends were moving to New York. I had never even successfully driven on the highway. But I said yes to moving to a city where my job would be to speed through its 6-lane highways to cover breaking news. I wasn't sure how, but I knew Georgetown had prepared me to take the leap. As is often the case with first jobs, it was not a perfect fit. It was hard, and it was lonely. It also wasn't forever. And Georgetown had not only given me the confidence to make that first jump, it had also taught me to persevere. The preparation I left school with wasn't necessarily from my coursework. Apologies to the faculty here. What made me feel ready to take on these challenges was the informal 6-day-a-week education I got at the Hoya. Maybe that's something you can relate to. For you, it might be the Corp and internship downtown, or yes, even the Voice. The Hoya is where I learned how to commit journalism, as one of my favorite editors likes to say. I spent all my nights up until 4 a.m. in the Hoya's office in the Levy Center. I'm going to say that that sleep schedule was one reason I did not make it to 12 p.m. convocation. In Levy 421, the walls were covered in signatures of editors who had preceded us. They had printed out quotes of ridiculous things they'd said while delirious from lack of sleep, and hung them up on the wall, and so did we. At one point, fed up with stock quotes full of Georgetown buzzwords, we added a tracker for how many days it had been since we published an article with the words cura personalis in it. Usually, the tracker was at 0. So, sure, the Hoya could be insular to life on campus. We took small stories and we treated them like the Pentagon Papers. There was the time we stayed up all night investigating which secret societies candidates for GUSA were members of. But the results seemed to sway the GUSA election. Sometimes that insularity cracked. When we reported stories about Georgetown, we learned just how passionate so many people are about this school, even if they weren't Hoyas themselves. I once broke news about JJ, who was then the successor to Jack the Bulldog. A source on his official dog walking team told us that he had been fired as mascot in training and sent to live with a family in Virginia. That one got picked up by the Washington Post, ESPN, and plenty of other outlets. Every time a new article published that day and said the information was first reported by the Hoya with a link back to my story, I felt a rush of adrenaline. And if I recall correctly, some university communications staff had to come back from summer vacation for the day to deal with the onslaught. Sorry, guys. And then there were the times we were fully immersed in the real world. Like when a student made the biotoxin ricin in his dorm room. I went down to federal court to watch his appearance in front of a judge, who I recently discovered while looking back at those records was Ketanji Brown Jackson. Through all of this, I was learning lessons I wouldn't fully appreciate until later. You all have too, at your own versions of the Hoya. I saw the difference it makes when you're passionate about what you do and feel ownership over it. Twice a week, I would arrive in Lao at 9 p.m. and stare at the blinking cursor on 2 blank pages. I would always come up with a dozen new story ideas faster than I figured out what to write my one paper about. Most importantly, I learned how to work as part of a team, how to manage one, and how to be a leader. As a college junior, I had a staff of 150. I quickly began to prioritize the Hoya over my own coursework. My papers and exams only mattered to me, but missing deadlines for the Hoya would affect a dozen other people. Reporters waiting for edits, copy editors who couldn't do their jobs until we signed off, and even our printer who did not like it when we missed our 2 a.m. deadline. That might not have been the smartest academic decision, but I've been asked about my time as editor-in-chief of the Hoya in almost every job interview I've ever had. College me would be shocked to find out that I work in business journalism today. If you'd asked me if I was interested in the beat as a Georgetown student, I would have said, please, anything else. Growing up, I always read my dad's copy of the New York Times, but I never once glanced at the business section. In fairness, it was the recession, so it was not the most uplifting place to look. As with so much in life, it all came down to happenstance. I contacted an editor at USA Today to ask if I could intern, eyeing a spot in politics or entertainment, but the only internship was on their money desk. I remember being so bummed I would be bored all semester, but I took the job anyway for my resume. At first, it was a little boring. I did my best to cover earnings reports without revealing how little financial knowledge I actually had. Still, I didn't understand how vast business journalism actually is. Over the past decade, that's what I've discovered. The business stint on my resume is what got me out of Houston and back home to New York, and eventually to Fortune magazine. As editor of Fortune's Most Powerful Women franchise, I've had opportunities I never could have imagined. I've traveled to Sydney, Australia to write a cover story about Melanie Perkins, the founder of Canva, which at more than $40 billion is the highest valued startup in the world that is both founded and run by a woman. Yeah, I've spoken on stages from Rio to Helsinki. In the past year alone, I've written about topics as wide-ranging as the impact of the Trump administration's immigration enforcement on American agriculture and Victoria's Secret's attempt at a comeback. I get to write a newsletter called Most Powerful Women Daily that's part of a daily routine for tens of thousands of people. You can subscribe for free. I've been on the ground for some truly bonkers experiences, like watching in West Texas as Katy Perry went to space for 11 minutes in that Blue Origin flight. Find me after if you want to know more about that one. I've reported from the court at WNBA All-Star Weekend and profiled Kim Kardashian with her Hulu cameras in tow. She even used the magazine cover from my story for her cake at her 43rd birthday party. I came to this ceremony straight from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, where I spent the day yesterday at a women's health clinic with Melinda French Gates. When I think back on all these experiences and compare them to what I imagined my career might be like while at Georgetown, I realize that simply, you never know what you don't know. You can spend your whole life thinking you hate anything to do with business, and then realize you didn't even know what business is. Georgetown gives us such an incredible education that it's easy to go out into the world feeling knowledgeable and prepared. That's a wonderful thing, and you all should feel ready to take on anything. But just remember that you're only at the beginning, and there is still so much to discover. Opportunities exist that you haven't even thought about yet. Sometimes the things that light us up, that give us purpose, are far from what we thought we would be doing. With some obvious exceptions, you won't know if you actually like something until you give it a shot. So be open-minded, try things, take risks. Don't count yourself out or assume something will be terrible before it proves that to you. And if a job is terrible, figure out what you can learn from it and then get on out of there. It sounds impossible, but embrace uncertainty. You don't need me to tell you that traditional entry-level tracks are more unclear than they've ever been. In 2015, I felt like an outlier for not having a job lined up. I imagine more of you are in my shoes today. It would be dishonest to promise that everything always works out, just because that sounds comforting in an era of complete technological upheaval. But I do know that your time at Georgetown prepares you to forge a better path than what's always been done. And I also know that the thing you're best at, that only you can do, you might not even know about it yet. So say yes to almost everything. You're here at senior convocation, so you're already one step ahead of me. Thank you.
Thank you, Emma. We have now come to the moment in which you move as a class from being students to becoming alumni. To initiate that change, I invite Ms. Julia Farr, Georgetown College of Arts and Sciences class of 1988, Executive Director of the Georgetown University Alumni Association, to come to the podium.
Thank you, Dr. Colbert. And the class of 2026, congratulations. Take a moment right now to look at the friends who surround you. Today we celebrate not only the degrees you've earned, but this community that you've built. You may have arrived in August 2022 as individuals from different high schools, different states, even different countries, or you may have joined the class as a transfer in a later year. But in these years together, you have forged a robust common identity, bound by the ties of friendship that will never dull, never break. What was begun here in 1789, you continue on in 2026, taking your shared journey now from the hilltop into the world. It's the values instilled here at Georgetown that prepare you to sustain life's uncertainties and prepare you for a world defined by change. Beyond these gates, living out the mission of our alma mater becomes your greatest asset. And even though you leave us in 3 short days, you remain an indelible, treasured part of Georgetown forever. The 2026 Alumni Class Committee, headed by William Morris of New Hampshire College of Arts and Sciences, class of 26, and Michael Wosch of Michigan School of Foreign Service, class of 2026, will be your link to Georgetown and to the Alumni Association through our 70 regional clubs around the world, our professional alliances uniting alumni with common interests and specializations, our lifelong learning programs where you can continue to nourish your hearts and minds, our affinity groups formed around a shared identity, our annual homecoming, and even those 5-year reunions, which seem so impossibly remote right now, and which will be upon you sooner than you can even believe. These and other opportunities supported by the Alumni Association will ensure that you maintain the bonds you have formed here, and that you will never forget what a glorious thing it is to be a Hoya. Students, please stand. We celebrate here today your transformation from students to alumni. Please take out the pins that were handed to you when you entered today, but don't put them on yet. These are the official signs of your induction into the Georgetown alumni community, joining over the 240,000 alumni who have come before you in their commitment to Georgetown. Accept the pin then as a symbol. See it as a sign that even though you will soon leave the campus, you will be Georgetown's sons and daughters forever. And never forget, to be an alumnus of Georgetown means a lifelong commitment to the highest ideals of leadership and service to the nation and to the world. Fellow alumni, as a sign of your continuing unity as the members of class of 2026, please pin someone near you. I now invite all our guests to rise and join Georgetown's newest alumni class in singing Georgetown's alma mater. The words and music can be found at the back of your program. The alma mater will be led by your classmates in the Senior Choral Scholars.
Children
inaugurate a lifetime of giving back to alma mater, who has given us all so much, I now invite Alexa Nakanishi of Connecticut College of Arts and Sciences, class of 2026, and Emma Viscount of New York School of Foreign Service, class of 2026, to present your senior class gift.
We would first like to offer our sincerest gratitude to all of the members of the Senior Class Fund of 2026. Lucy Burdett, Jackson Hightower, Audrey Kalb, Sarah Kidd, Lindsay Knight, Terry Lee, Louisa Hago, Gabriella Rigoli, Sandra Soundarajan, Cara Venditti, Michael Woosh, and Mary Rottenack. Without all of their hard work, passion, and dedication for Georgetown throughout the entire year, this effort would not have been possible. But above all, thank you, the incredible class of 2026 Hoyas, who chose to make your mark by giving back through the Senior Class Fund. Whether you supported your favorite student organization, academic department, scholarship fund, athletic team, or any place on campus that shaped your Georgetown journey, your generosity speaks volumes. Each of you has been instrumental in the success of this year's campaign and in building a legacy that will echo long after we leave the hilltop. Thanks to your overwhelming support, reaching an extraordinary 1,472 donors and 85.73% senior giving participation, we didn't just meet expectations, we made history. Together, Together, we set an all-time Georgetown record for senior class giving, both in participation percentage and total donors. In recognition of these milestones, the Board of Regents has matched our class's giving percentage with an incredible $85,000 contribution, amplifying our impact for future generations of Hoyas. We are profoundly grateful to the Regents for their generosity and belief in the power of student giving. On behalf of the class of 2026, thank you for helping us turn a collective passion into a lasting difference.
As Hoyas, we are part of a proud and ongoing tradition at Georgetown, one rooted in leadership, service, and passion. During our time as students, we've lived that tradition in the classroom, on campus, and in our communities. Now, as alumni, we take on a new role, to carry that legacy forward by embodying the values of our Georgetown education and by supporting the school through our time, talents, and resources. In this spirit of Georgetown and with profound gratitude for all that the Hilltop has given to us, we now ask Interim President Groves to join us at the podium. Interim President Groves, as co-chairs of the Class of 2026 Fund and on behalf of our class, it is our privilege and our pleasure to present to you this check for $117,936.60 as the Class of 2026 Senior Gift to Georgetown.
So I want to welcome all of you to the Senior Convocation. This is an event we look forward to every year. On behalf of you, I'd like to thank each of you in the senior class, Alexa and Emma, the members of our senior class fund board, and the class of 2026 as a whole. Thank you very much. So your gift will serve students who follow you. You have given to the future. And this is one of the first of your classes' step of giving back to this institution that you love. I thank you deeply for your commitment to Georgetown. We couldn't be more grateful. Thank you so much. I'd also like to thank Evie Steel for sharing such thoughtful reflections, and Honor Sachar and Isra Satyar for contributing your prayers, the senior choral scholars who were here at the beginning for their beautiful performances, and then Emma Hinchliff for her words of inspiration to our class. So to you students and the families that are assembled outside around us, you have to know something, that this is the moment our faculty and staff wait for every year. This is pure joy. It is a moment where all of us are looking forward. We gather with you as a class to inaugurate our commencement activities. Over the next few days, you and we will have many moments to reflect on the journeys you took, the ways in which you've grown, and the knowledge and insights you've gained. During your years here, you've acquired knowledge that is both expansive and deep. Knowledge in your chosen area of focus, knowledge of yourself, hopefully, knowledge, most importantly, of how you yourself can use your unique talents to engage the world around you and make a unique impact. I hope you've had moments of quiet reflection over these years, but also moments of energetic, engaged discussion, that you've developed a deeper understanding of your own strengths. You know yourself better, a sense of what you bring the most, what brings you the most meaning. One of our deepest hopes is that you've built an enhanced capacity to engage with those actively who are quite different from you, who disagree with your perspectives, who see the world differently than you do. You are entering a world paralyzed by polarization, fed by echo chambers of homogeneous thought. We need you at this moment. Georgetown graduates will lead in this world. You are our hope to build bridges, to seek to serve the common good, and thus help heal this troubled world. To the parents and families surrounding us, I thank you. I thank you as partners in forming the intellects and spirits of these graduates, and I thank you for trusting us to nurture your student, soon to be a graduate. And to the students here in front of me, as others have noted, you might be feeling some of the same emotions that you felt in new student convocation. Do you remember that 4 years ago? The feeling of excitement. You were so happy to be here. Now you're so happy to think forward. Curiosity for what is to come, and even a little anxiety about the future. As with others, I encourage you to hold on to that feeling, those feelings for a bit. Trust that you, however, have developed the abilities and the self-knowledge that will guide you in the journey ahead. You have all that you need to serve you. There are not very many moments in life that are just like this one. You have finished an incredible accomplishment that took years of work, and you've done it. And now you're looking forward. You've achieved a goal you've dreamed of, for some of you, for years and years, and you are suddenly without any academic work to do. Many of you are going to have a break in responsibilities. So I urge you to enjoy this moment with families and friends who are with us today. Use the moment a little later to stop and reflect on what you've become, what you've done, where you've been. I encourage you to review all that you have achieved, all that you have experienced, and then trust in yourself, in the person that you have become. This afternoon, we celebrate this journey that you have made and the one about which you are to embark. This is an extraordinary moment. There's nothing else quite like it. So now, students of the Georgetown class of 2026, in the culminating event of this convocation, I ask you to rise one more time and be admitted to the ceremonies of commencement. As the interim president of Georgetown University, it is my great privilege to admit the members of the class of 2026 to the ceremonies of commencement. These ceremonies begin today and continue through Saturday with the conferring of degrees by several schools, and conclude on Sunday, the 17th of May, with the baccalaureate mass. Members of the class of Georgetown 2026, your moment is at hand. Congratulations.
Hey seniors, how long has it been? It's been so long since last we met. Lie down, forever lie down. Or have you any money to bet? Lie down, forever lie down. There goes old Georgetown, straight for a touchdown. See how they gain ground. Lie down, forever lie down. Lie down, forever lie down. Oh, rah, 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 hurrah for Georgetown. Cheer for victory today. Whoopie-woo! Ere the sun is sunk to rest in the cradle of the west, in the clouds will proudly float the blue and gray. We've heard those loyal fellows up in Yale who brag and boast about the boola boola. We've heard the Navy yell, my arm. We've listened to Cornell, my leg. We've heard the sons of Harvard tell how crimson lines could hold them. Choo choo rah rahs, dear the Holy Cross. The proud of Princeton Tiger is never at a loss. But the yell of all the yells, the yell that wins the day is the Hoya Hoya Saxa for the dear old blue and gray. Hoya! Saxa! Hoya! Saxa! Hoya! Saxa! Yeah!
Please remain standing and join us and stand for the benediction, which will be offered by Ishra Satiyar of Virginia School of Health, class of 2026.
Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. All praise be to God, Lord of the worlds. We begin with gratitude, because before anything else, we are living inside answered prayers. Somewhere along the way, the things we prayed for 4 years ago became our normal. So before we leave this place, we pause to remind ourselves of all that we have to be grateful for. In the Islamic tradition, we call upon God by many names, each one a window into who God is. To call upon God's name is an act of prayer itself. So let us pray together. Ya Shakur, the appreciative, allow us to truly feel these remaining days, our last opportunity to connect with each other before we part ways. To linger in conversations and to look our mentors in the eye and mean it when we say thank you. Don't let us be so eager for what's next that we miss what's already here. Ya Muqit, the sustainer, you have taken care of us until now. Every deadline we survived, every unlikely door that was opened, every moment we weren't sure that we'd make it, you were there. So relieve us of our fear of what comes next. Let us walk into the unknown with full trust in your plan. Ya Rahim, the merciful, the world we are entering today is bleeding. Allow us to be among those who refuse to look away. Allow us to be healers and bearers of justice in places where injustice has taken deep root. Make us the ones who, even at the height of our ambition, reach back for those whom the world has left behind. Ya Hadi, the guide, as we step into a world of 1,000 directions, 1,000 voices telling us who to be and what to chase, guide us, keep us grounded in our values. Let the education we received here fortify our character, so that when the world pressures us to compromise, we remember who we are. And most importantly, Ya Fattah, the opener. As this chapter closes, open the next one with grace. Create for us opportunities where we don't expect them and ease our tests wherever they appear. Let us trust that every ending in our lives, just like this one, will be the beginning of something beautiful. In the Quran, God promises us, وَهُوَ مَعَكُمْ أَيْنَمَا كُنْتُمْ, and God is with you wherever you are. Wherever we go from here, new cities and challenges, and newer versions of ourselves we haven't yet met, we do not go alone. Always find solace in that. And when we look back at it all, let the only word we need be the one that we started with. Alhamdulillah. All praise be to God for everything, always. Let us all say Amen. Thank you.
Please remain standing in your places until the academic procession has recessed. Thank you especially to the musicians, to our speakers, and to our guests, including those watching remotely through our webcast. The university will hold the School of Continuing Studies commencement on Haley Lawn in approximately 1 hour. Out of consideration for those graduates and their guests, we ask you to leave this area with decorum, but also with some alacrity, so that the seats and stage can be reset for the next event. The exercises of the Senior Class Convocation 2026 are now officially at an end, and commencement has officially begun.
not number 5. It's the fifth movement of 12.
Yeah.
So too.
How about just about the first movement of number one? Yeah.
First movement. Moody's.
Or how do you say it?
Moody's. That was rough.
I don't know.
How about 13, the overture?
Okay.
Hang on to your hat at the Allegro. About 160. Getting to the fun part. So the next ceremony, I don't know exactly what time we're going to start, but we should probably two-ish.
Okay.
Two-ish. Back up here by two-ish? Two-ish. Okay, two-ish. And I'll go see if I can find out exactly when they might start.
You know what, Fred? Why don't you give me a call real quick? Because I just realized I don't think I have your phone number. So, in case...
202. Uh-huh. Hey, two-ish it is. Two-ish it is. Tuition here. It's tuition.
I do have it. I'm sorry.
Tuition.
I do have it. Sorry.
Tuition. There you go.
Tuition. Good. Good. Just
tuition.
make sure.
Tuition.